So this webinar is going to discuss how to do QSSA discussions in Canvas. We're going to go through first our objective. Today we're going to create a QSSA prompt for our students to answer a question, respond, and share with their peers. We know we have learned it when we are able to use this in the classroom and can attach a grade or a reflection activity with it. First, I wanted to go over what is a QSSSA. We first pose a question to our students. It should be open-ended. We give a signal, so they either stand up, they have the hands on their head, they do thumbs up, whatever you want to do for that. We'll provide sentence stems for them, and maybe even a word bank, depends on the level that you have. Then we'll have our students share in groups or pairs, and then we'll assess as a whole class. So we'll check on students for their understanding, and this is a very good picture of what basically I put in the summary there. Here's an example of a QSSSA example that we are going to probably implement in the next unit. So our question is going to be, in the following question, explain how you solve the problem. So you have an unknown gas that has a density of 2.26 grams per liter at STP. Your question says, what is a molar mass? Consider the following vocabulary words to include in your explanation. So maybe the word unit, mass, standard, pressure, temperature, ideal gas law, Boyle's law, Charles' law, Avogadro's, Gay-Lussac's law. And then some sentence stems are, the first step in a gas law problem is to, or the formula you will use is, sometimes you will also can say you are given blank and asked to find. That would be how you start. So that's basically just going over kind of creating our prompt. I can give y'all time to do that on your own, but this is pretty much straightforward. You just choose a question. Now, how to do it on Canvas. I just said we're going to open up our module in Canvas, and then you're going to add a discussion board, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. What you'll see is that you are going to have all these options that I screenshotted here. And so then I'm going to basically show you how to do that. So I have my units here. Instead of having it by week, I did rename them in there by types of reactions and all my things. My stoichiometry unit, we just finished this one. Here's my new one, gases. So what we're going to do is go to the little plus sign here. Instead of clicking add assignment, you're going to do add discussion. So you click on it. You create your topic. That's basically the title. So in there, you're going to do, in mine, I did gases QSSA. You can put trial 1, whatever you want it to be. You add your item. When you click on it, you're going to be able to edit it. So we're going to go here. This is where I just basically got this question. I copied it, and I pasted it here. I did want this centered, so I went ahead and put it there. Everything else was pretty much the same, I think. Now, when I do this, I can post to different sections. So I typically will assign it to a section once they see me and publish it through that way. You can publish to all, makes it easier too. You're more than welcome to add a file. If you want to add maybe a graphic or a picture, when you click on this choose file, you should see your computer open up with the assignments or with your work. You can't see it when I'm sharing screen because I'm only sharing this window, not my whole screen. Then here are the options. If you want students to respond to each other, that's a very common thing, and especially like I see in DC classes, then they will, like, you want to answer your question and then reply to 2 people in your class, or reply to 3, or reply to 1. You can allow that. I typically like having my students post something before they're able to see it. Also want it graded, so that way I can give points, and so that's out of 100. You can allow your students to like a comment, or only you. If you like something, then you can only say, oh, this is a really good response, so they will see that. This is up to y'all. You usually don't allow that one. So 100 points. What I like to do sometimes is, if I want to give like actual grades, 90, 80, 70, I can leave it like that points. But if it's sometimes a completion grade, like if I want my students just to go ahead and we're all going to do this and you're all going to do it in class and we're going to put in our answer here, then it's just, did you participate in the activity? We'll do a complete or incomplete. And then it is minor for categories. You assign to everyone. You give a due date, let's say for the 23rd. And then once you save and publish, your students have that assigned to them. And so they will be able to reply, put their response here, and then post it. Then on your end, when they do something like that, I'm going to pull one from probably last year. that I did. Wasn't this unit, but it was in earlier units. That's through my courses. It was 22 Chem A here. So modules. Pretty sure we're doing trends, and I do a discussion board. Okay, so this right here. So I had my students pick one question from the following to answer in complete sentences. So I gave A and a B and a C. This was just basically like something we did in class, like an activity, as maybe a review. I think I did it towards the end. So having them practice some of their first response in honors chem, they really struggle with writing. Sometimes when we ask them to compare and contrast, they don't know exactly what they do. So I phrased it similar to what they would see on their test. So I told them between F an atom and F minus an anion, which would be larger. So that's their question. In class, I went over, okay, first you want to pick one. That's the very most important part. You want to answer it. And then number 2 is your explanation. In your answer, include the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons in each one. I've seen, as I've taught several years, different levels of chem, and, with the kind of how students are, they sometimes struggle with seeing a question and just knowing where to start. Or if I tell them, hey, talk about this, they just answer the questions and talk about that. Or they won't talk about this and they just talk about something else. So that sometimes gives them something to start at. For B, from the following elements, we have 4, which has the highest. So I have to pick one. And then in your definition, include the trend. So you want a definition there. And we also want whether the nuclear level, the force of attraction, is important, or the energy levels. It just depends on what the question, like what they're looking at. And the last one, you're picking between indium, gallium, and boron, which has the highest or biggest electronegativity. I do abbreviate that CN, and then in your answer include the definition and force of attraction explanation. I also have a ranking question, and so here I tell them to put it in decrease. These were required, and this was a challenge. I had some students actually complete it, and when they realized, hey, this is really hard, maybe I need to go ask, they did come and get help from that, so it was really good. But you see some of my responses from previous years. This semester, I don't think I've done one, but it's pretty easy to grade. I don't think I can show you here on my end because I haven't done one, but like right now, I can't give it an actual grade because it's already done with. But if it's complete or incomplete, you can just do this. Once the student submits, you can just click on that. It's also really cool because when you go to your Canvas gradebook, let me go back to my current gradebook so I can actually show you. When you assign a complete or incomplete, you can just go to the gradebook and assign like a little check mark or not check mark if your kids did it on time. So like right here, I have a note on this one. It has like, yes, they did it, or no, they didn't, or even if you want an excuse for that student, maybe it's like beyond their scope or they have accommodations, you can just not have them do that assignment. That's pretty cool. That's how you do that. Again, we went through our module. We added the plus. Instead of assignment, it was discussion. You can also just, not grade it. It's really up to you what you want to do here. You really can't see what my students have done because it's for the new units for upcoming, so they haven't actually tried it. We're going to do this next week, but that's pretty cool. If y'all have any questions, I'm in Science 4, and I will be available for any help.